My name is Jimmie Bellamy. I'm 26. On March 15th, 2025, at 7:43 p.m., my father turned our family's 35th anniversary dinner into a public eviction. In front of 18 relatives, he stood, pointed at the door, and shouted, "Get out and stay out!" The room didn't protest, it judged. My older sister Victoria, the golden child, watched like she'd won. My mother stared through the table settings. My brother Nathan kept his eyes down. And just like that, I was erased. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I took my coat and walked out. They thought they'd ended my story. They thought I'd disappear quietly. They didn't realize the next chapter would unfold without them, loudly, publicly, and in a way they couldn't control. And when my name showed up where it wasn't supposed to, the silence at that table would finally cost them. Let me tell you about the Bellamy family. In our world, there were two acceptable career paths: medicine or disappointment. My grandfather was a cardiac surgeon in the 1960s, one of the pioneers who brought open-heart surgery to New York City. My father, Dr. Jonathan Bellamy, is the director of cardiovascular surgery at a hospital ranked 8th in the nation. My mother, Dr. Catherine Bellamy, is an internist with a patient list that includes 3 senators and a former governor, 3 generations of doctors, white coats in every closet, medical journals on every coffee table. The family motto, engraved on a plaque in the dining room: service through science. I was supposed to be Generation 4. Instead, I became the black sheep. Victoria is 32. She's a neurosurgeon. She saves lives, publishes papers in JAMA, and just got invited to be the keynote speaker at the International Congress of Neurological Surgeons in Vienna this September. At 32, she'll be the youngest keynote speaker in the event's 50-year history. My mother mentions this approximately 6 times per conversation. Nathan is 23. He's in his 4th year at Harvard Medical School. Top 5% of his class. Already has a residency lined up at Johns Hopkins. The pride of the family's next generation. Then there's me. I dropped out of medical school in my 3rd year. May 12th, 2022. 3 years ago. They never asked me why. They just assumed I couldn't handle it. Every family dinner since then, the 14 I was forced to attend over 3 years, followed the same script. Victoria's latest surgical success, Nathan's newest award. And then, when someone asked about me, my mother would smile tightly and say, "Jimmie is figuring things out." Air quotes included. They never asked what I was figuring out. Here's what they didn't know. I didn't leave medical school because I failed. I left because I found something bigger. While my classmates were memorizing the 12 cranial nerves, I was learning Solidity, the programming language for blockchain development. While they dissected cadavers, I was dissecting smart contracts. While they studied for the USMLE, I was studying market patterns in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and decentralized finance protocols. On June 3, 2022, 3 weeks after I dropped out, I bought my first Bitcoin at $19,800. The market was in free fall. Everyone said crypto was dead. I bought anyway. I started with $50,000. My entire savings from summer internships and a small inheritance from my grandmother. By December 2023, that $50,000 had become $8.3 million. By March 2025, it was $42.5 million, but I never told them, not a word. What they saw: me sleeping until 2 p.m., wearing sweatpants, with my room dark and cluttered with coffee cups. What they didn't see: I was trading when the Tokyo market opened at 2 a.m. Eastern. I was building Vault Chain, a decentralized security protocol, while they slept. I had 2 monitors, 1 laptop, and a whiteboard covered in blockchain architecture diagrams. My father once said to my mother, loud enough for me to hear through the wall, "She sleeps until 2 p.m. What kind of life is that?" He didn't know I'd been awake for 22 hours straight, closing a deal that would net me $380,000 in profit. My room looked like chaos. LED strip lights, anime posters, 6 to 8 coffee cups at any given time, a tangle of charging cables. To them, it looked like failure. To me, it was mission control. The morning of the anniversary dinner, only one person texted me. Uncle George, my father's younger brother, 52 years old, retired physician, the only family member who'd ever said, "Follow your own path, kid." 10:32 a.m. George, you coming tonight? Jimmie, they insisted. George, stay strong, kid. You're doing better than you think. I stared at that last sentence for a long time. Uncle George was the only one who ever asked me about my work, not in a condescending way, in a genuinely curious way. I'd told him bits and pieces, blockchain, cryptocurrency, financial technology. He'd nodded and said, "Sounds like you're onto something." He didn't fully understand it, but he didn't dismiss it either. I didn't know it then, but Uncle George would be the only family member still talking to me in 4 weeks. May 12th, 2022 to March 15th, 2025. 1,095 days. In all that time, my father never called me, not once. My mother texted, but only when she needed something. A family photo, a mandatory appearance at a holiday dinner. The messages were always the same format. Sunday dinner, 6 p.m. Don't be late. No please. No how are you. Just commands. Over 3 years, there were 14 family events. I attended 3, all forced. The other 11, I invented excuses: food poisoning, work deadline, migraine. After the 5th excuse, they stopped asking if I was okay. They just marked me down as not attending and moved on. Every event I did attend was the same. I was the ghost at the table, present but erased. Thanksgiving, 2024. 22 people crammed into my parents' dining room. Victoria had just saved a 12-year-old girl's life in an emergency surgery, a brain aneurysm, 8-hour operation. The girl woke up with full cognitive function. My father told the story 4 times that night, once during cocktails, once before the meal, once during dessert, once while everyone was putting on their coats to leave. Nathan had just received the Dean's Award for Clinical Excellence, top of his class. My mother mentioned it 6 times. And me? Jimmie is still figuring things out, my mother said when my aunt asked. The air quotes were invisible, but everyone heard them. I sat there, eating mashed potatoes, saying nothing. Because at that exact moment, VaultChain had just hit 2.1 million users, and I'd closed a licensing deal worth $4.2 million. But they didn't ask, so I didn't tell. I stopped correcting them a long time ago, let them think I was failing. It made what came next even sweeter. Easter. April 20th, 2025. 22 family members. I arrived at 11 a.m. My mother handed me a place card. "You're at table 2, dear." Table 1. 16 adults. Doctors, lawyers, my grandparents, Victoria, Nathan. Table 2. 4 cousins aged 8, 10, 12, and 14. 1 aunt supervising, and me. I'm 26 years old. I sat down between a 12-year-old who kept kicking the table leg and an 8-year-old who spilled juice on my sleeve within 5 minutes. The 12-year-old looked at me and said, "Why are you sitting with us? Aren't you, old?" "Yeah," I said. "I'm old." Across the room, 15 feet away, Victoria laughed at something my father said. Nathan poured wine for my grandmother. They were at the adult table. I sat there for 90 minutes, didn't complain, just smiled, and made a mental note. This ends tonight. Here's what I was actually doing while they seated me with children. VaultChain launched in September 2023. A blockchain security protocol designed to protect decentralized finance transactions. I built it with 2 developers I'd met online, neither of whom knew my real name. We operated under pseudonyms. The company was registered in Delaware under a parent LLC. By March 2025, VaultChain had 3.2 million users. 18 blockchain security patents filed under my name, but the public filings used my middle name and a business address, so no one connected J.M. Bellamy, founder, to Jimmie Bellamy, medical school dropout. In February, I received an email from our legal team. Subject: Patent number 18 approved. Ms. Bellamy, congratulations. Patent US 2025004-7321 has been approved. Your intellectual property portfolio is now valued at $28 million. $28 million in IP alone. Not counting my trading portfolio. Not counting the Series A funding we just closed. I could have told them any time, but I wanted them to find out the hard way. 2 weeks before the anniversary dinner, my mother called me. This was unusual. She texted. She didn't call. "Jimmie," she said, her voice unusually warm. "It's our 35th wedding anniversary. We're having a small family dinner, 18 people. Your father and I would really love it if you came." Small. 18 people, right. "It's important to your father," she added. "Not to us, to your father." "I'll be there," I said. "Wonderful. 7 p.m., March 15th. Don't be late." She hung up before I could respond. I stared at my phone for a full minute. When my mother was nice, it meant she needed an audience for something. I should have known what was coming. I arrived at 7 p.m. sharp. My parents' townhouse glowed from the inside. Candles in every window, catering trucks parked on the street. My mother opened the door, air kiss on each cheek. "Oh, Jimmie, you're here. Come in, come in." She was wearing a dress that cost more than most people's monthly rent. Diamonds at her throat, hair perfect, smile tight. "You're at table 2, dear," she said, guiding me past the main dining area. I looked at the seating chart on the entry table. Table 1, main table. Parents, Victoria, Nathan, both sets of grandparents, 3 aunts, 2 uncles. Table 2, side table. 4 cousins aged 10, 12, 14, 16. Aunt Susan supervising. And me. Again. "More comfortable for you," my mother said. Translation: "We don't want you embarrassing us at the main table." I sat down at table 2, 15 feet from table 1, close enough to hear every word, far enough to be excluded. The 10-year-old looked at me and whispered to the 12-year-old, "Why is she sitting with us?" I smiled, stayed silent, and waited. Dinner began at 7:15 p.m., 4 courses, catered by a company that charged $8,500 for 18 people. I know because I saw the invoice on the kitchen counter when I used the bathroom. At 7:38 p.m., my father stood up, tapped his wine glass with a fork. "Everyone, if I could have your attention." The room went silent. "Tonight, we're celebrating not just 35 years of marriage to my beautiful wife, Catherine," polite applause, "but also some very exciting family news." My stomach tightened. "As many of you know, my daughter Victoria has been doing extraordinary work in neurosurgery." Victoria smiled, modest, practiced. This week, she received an invitation to be the keynote speaker at the International Congress of Neurological Surgeons in Vienna this September. Gasps. Applause. Someone shouted, "Brava!" At 32 years old, she will be the youngest keynote speaker in the event's history. The applause lasted 23 seconds. I counted. Victoria stood, hugged my father, hugged my mother. Everyone at table 1 raised their glasses. At table 2, the 12-year-old said, "What's a keynote speaker?" "It means she's important," I said quietly. The applause died down. Everyone sat. Then my father turned, looked directly at me, and smiled. "Jimmie," my father said, his voice carrying across the 15 feet between tables. "Sweetheart." The word dripped like honey laced with poison. "We're all sharing tonight. Family accomplishments. What have you been up to? Any achievements you'd like to share?" 18 people turned to look at me. 4 seconds of silence. It felt like 4 minutes. The 16-year-old cousin next to me physically leaned away, like failure was contagious. I could feel Victoria's eyes on me, that same small smile from when I left med school. My throat was dry. I could have stayed silent. I could have said, nothing worth mentioning. Instead, I told a version of the truth. I work in fintech, I said. My voice was calm. 9 words. Fintech? My father's eyebrows went up. You mean cryptocurrency? Blockchain security specifically. My father laughed. Not a kind laugh. A sharp, dismissive bark. Blockchain? He looked around the table, inviting others to join in the joke. That's not a real job, Jimmie. That's gambling for millennials. 3 uncles laughed. My grandmother looked confused. Uncle George, seated at the far end of table 1, didn't laugh. His jaw was tight. But he didn't say anything. No one did. I mean, my father continued, gaining momentum. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't cryptocurrency that, what do they call it? Fake money? Internet coins? It's decentralized finance, I said quietly. It's a scam, he said. Not quietly. My father stood up again. His face was getting red. Let me be very clear, Jimmie. You threw away a $400,000 education, our money, by the way, to play with imaginary coins on a computer? His voice rose with each word. Do you understand what you've done? You were going to be a doctor. You were going to save lives. You were going to carry on this family's legacy. He gestured at the room, at the 3 generations of physicians. And instead, you're sitting in your room in sweatpants, staring at screens, trading, what? Digital nonsense? My mother added, her voice quieter but just as cutting. We can't even tell people what you do, Jimmie. Do you understand how humiliating that is for us? I looked at her. Humiliating for you? Yes, she said. Your father works with some of the most respected surgeons in the country, and when they ask about his children, he has to say that his youngest dropped out of medical school to gamble online. My father's fist hit the table. Silverware jumped. You are a disgrace to the Bellamy name, his voice filled the room. 3 generations of doctors, and you, he pointed at me, you waste your life on a computer. 18 people. Frozen. Victoria's arms were crossed, satisfied. Nathan was staring at his plate, shoulders hunched. The cousins at my table looked terrified. My father was breathing hard. His face was scarlet. And then he said the words I'll never forget. Get out! His voice was a roar. And stay out! He pointed at the door. His hand was shaking. I will not have a failure living under the shadow of this family's name. Silence. 11 seconds of it. 18 pairs of eyes on me. Not one person spoke. Not one person stood up to defend me. Not my mother, not Nathan, not Uncle George. I stood up, grabbed my coat from the back of my chair, walked to the door, 18 seconds from chair to exit. As I reached for the doorknob, I heard my mother whisper to the woman next to her, loud enough for me to hear, "She'll come crawling back. She always does." I opened the door, stepped out, closed it behind me. 23 minutes. That's how long it took to drive from their Upper East Side townhouse to my penthouse in Lower Manhattan, Park Avenue to the FDR Drive. Traffic was light. I didn't cry. Not one tear. I didn't scream. I didn't hit the steering wheel. I didn't call anyone. I just drove. My hands were steady on the wheel. My breathing was even. I felt empty and strangely calm because I knew something they didn't. In 21 days, Forbes would publish their 30 under 30 list. My profile was already written, already approved. The publication date was locked in, March 26th, 6 a.m. Eastern. They'd find out through Facebook tags, through Google searches, through colleagues asking, "Isn't that your daughter?" And by then, the whole world would already know. I pulled into my building's underground garage at 8:11 p.m., took the elevator to the 62nd floor, unlocked the door to my 2,800 square foot penthouse, sat down on my $18,000 Italian leather couch, opened my laptop. There was an email waiting. From Forbes editorial team. Subject: 30 under 30. Publication confirmed date: March 15th, 2025, 7:52 p.m. Ms. Bellamy, your profile is scheduled for publication on March 26th at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Congratulations on this achievement. I closed the laptop, looked out my floor-to-ceiling windows at the Manhattan skyline, and smiled. 5 days passed. 0 texts from my parents, 0 from Victoria. Nathan sent 1 message on day 2. Nathan, I'm sorry about Dad. That was wrong. But I can't get involved. I didn't reply. My mother called 3 times. I ignored all 3 calls. On day 3, Victoria posted the anniversary dinner photos on Instagram. 23 pictures, family portraits, candid shots of people laughing. I was in exactly 0 of them. Actually, that's not true. I was in 1, in the background, cropped so that only half my shoulder was visible. The caption: celebrating 35 years of love with our beautiful family. #blessed, #family. First 247 likes. Uncle George was the only one who texted me every day. Day 1, you okay, kid? Day 2, checking in. Day 3, I'm here if you need to talk. Day 4, that was wrong, all of it. Day 5, proud of you. I replied to the last one, thanks. I wasn't waiting for an apology, I was waiting for Forbes. Life didn't stop. VaultChain hit 3.3 million users on day 8, up from 3.2 million the week before. On day 9, I closed a Series A deal with a venture capital firm. $6 million. They loved the tech. They loved the growth metrics. They loved that I was a woman under 30 in a male-dominated field. The partner who led the deal said, "You're going to be huge. You know that, right?" I smiled. "We'll see." Every night, I checked the Forbes publication calendar. March 26th, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 11 days away, then 10, then 9. On day 16, a tech blogger on Twitter leaked the Forbes 30 under 30 list. Not the full list, just names, no profiles. My name was on it. Within an hour, 12 people from the blockchain industry sent me LinkedIn messages. "Congrats on Forbes. Didn't know you were the Bellamy behind VaultChain." "Impressive. Well deserved. Let's connect." On day 17, TechCrunch published an article. VaultChain hits 3.3 million users, eyes Series B funding. My name was mentioned 3 times, but my family didn't follow tech news. They read medical journals and the New York Times arts section. They had no idea. The tech world knew, Wall Street knew, venture capitalists knew, but the Bellamys? Still clueless. On day 19, my mother called again. This time I answered. "Jimmie," she said. Her voice was strange, uncertain. "Darling, are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Some people at the hospital have been asking about you." My pulse quickened. "What people?" "Just colleagues of your father's. They mentioned your name. I wasn't sure why." She was fishing. "Is everything all right?" she asked. "Everything's fine, Mom." "Well, good. Anyway, are you coming to Easter? It's next month and—" "No." Silence. "Jimmie, I have to go." I hung up. She called back immediately. I didn't answer. She sensed something, but she didn't know what. 2 days later, she would. March 26th, 2025. 6 a.m. The Forbes 30 under 30 list went live. I woke up at 5:45 a.m., made coffee, sat at my kitchen island, opened my laptop. At exactly 6 a.m., I refreshed the Forbes website. There it was, 30 under 30, finance. I scrolled down. Jimmie Bellamy, 26, founder and CEO, Vault Chain managing a personal portfolio of $42.5 million, 18 blockchain security patents, 3.3 million users across decentralized finance platforms. Bellamy dropped out of medical school in 2022 to pursue blockchain technology full-time, a decision that has proven extraordinarily lucrative. There was a professional photo of me, blazer, hair-styled, confident smile. I looked nothing like the girl in sweatpants they thought they knew. My phone buzzed. From Forbes editorial team, automated. Congratulations, your profile is now live. Within the first hour, my LinkedIn profile views surged by 340%. I gained 2,100 Instagram followers before 9 a.m. At 9:32 a.m., my mother called. I let it ring. I wanted her to sit with it. My mother saw it on Facebook. At 9:47 a.m., someone tagged her. Catherine, isn't this your daughter? I had no idea she was so successful. Congratulations. Then another tag. And another. By noon, 127 people had tagged her in the Forbes article. Uncle George told me later what happened next. My mother called my father at the hospital. He was between surgeries. Jonathan, she said, her voice shaking. People are tagging me, saying Jimmie is on some Forbes list for finance. What are you talking about? Google her name, right now. He did, and his world tilted. My father Googled Jimmie Bellamy Forbes. The first result, Forbes 30 under 30. He clicked, read the profile. $42.5 million. He blinked, read it again. Founder and CEO, Vault Chain. He clicked the Vault Chain link, a professional website, clean design. 3.3 million users trust Vault Chain for decentralized finance security. He clicked, About the founder. There I was, professional headshot, bio. Jimmie M. Bellamy graduated from Columbia University with a degree in computer science before attending medical school. In 2022, she left medicine to pursue her passion for blockchain technology. Since then, she has filed 18 patents, built a user base of over 3 million, and established herself as one of the leading voices in DeFi security. He Googled again. TechCrunch. Vault Chain secures $15 million in Series A funding. February 2025. Bloomberg. Bellamy's Vault Chain signals maturity in DeFi security. January 2025. Business Insider. Meet the 26-year-old protecting millions in crypto assets. December 2024. 7 articles, all from the past 4 months. She'd been successful for years, and they had no idea. According to Uncle George, my father sat in his office for 20 minutes, staring at his computer screen. Then he called my number, for the first time in 1,096 days. I let it ring. Victoria saw the Forbes article at 10:30 a.m. She didn't call, didn't text, didn't congratulate me. At 11:03 a.m., she unfollowed me on Instagram. I got the notification. I laughed out loud. The golden child couldn't handle not being the only star in the family. That same day, she posted an Instagram story, a photo of her keynote speaker invitation. Caption, honored and humbled. Hashtag neurosurgery. Hashtag ICNS 2025. The comments were full of people asking, "Is Jimmie Bellamy your sister?" She didn't respond to a single one. By the end of the day, I'd gained 3,800 new Instagram followers. Victoria had gained 340. She couldn't erase me from Forbes, and she knew it. Within 48 hours of the Forbes publication, I received 43 LinkedIn messages. CEOs, investors, journalists. 8 interview requests. CNBC's Squawk Box. Bloomberg TV, TechCrunch, Deep Dive Feature. Decrypt Coin. Desk Forbes, Follow-up Profile. Wall Street Journal, Financial Times. 3. Speaking Invitations. Consensus, 2025, Austin. Token 2049, Singapore. MIT Bitcoin Expo, Cambridge. Vault Chain saw a 68% spike in new user signups. Our website crashed twice from traffic. One message stood out. From Lisa Chen, partner, Sequoia Capital Jimmie. We've been watching Vault Chain for months. Your Forbes feature confirmed what we already knew. You're building something transformative. Let's talk Series B. Are you available next week? Series B, Sequoia Capital. I replied, Tuesday, 2 p.m. I'll send the deck. The world wanted to hear from me. My family? They wanted to control the narrative. On day 23, March 27th, Uncle George called at 7:18 p.m. I answered. Kid, he said. His voice was warm, proud. I always knew. I'm so damn proud of you. I felt my throat tighten. Thanks, Uncle George. I need to tell you something, he said. They're scrambling. Your mother's telling people we always supported her. Your father's been silent. First time I've ever seen him speechless. Victoria's furious. Nathan's confused but impressed. What do you think they'll do? They'll come for you, he said. They'll want something. Money, maybe. Or a way to spin this so they don't look like the villains. He paused. Don't let them rewrite history, Jimmie. You did this alone. Remember that. I will. And kid? Yeah? You didn't need their permission to be great. You never did. I closed my eyes. Thank you. We talked for 14 minutes. He told me about the hospital gossip, the whispers, the way my father's colleagues were looking at him differently. When we hung up, I sat in silence for a long time. He was right. 4 days later, they showed up at my door. Day 24. My father was in the hospital cafeteria when a colleague approached him. Dr. Richard Thornton, chief of cardiology. Jonathan, he said, clapping my father on the shoulder. I just saw the Forbes article. Your daughter, Vault Chain. That's incredible. You must be so proud. My father forced a smile. Yes, of course. We always knew she'd do great things. Pause. I had no idea she was in tech, Dr. Thornton continued. I thought she was still in school. She found her path. Another doctor joined them, Dr. Linda Hayes, vascular surgery. Jonathan, I've been meaning to ask, is your daughter really managing a $42 million portfolio? That's what Bloomberg said. My father's jaw tightened. $42.5 million according to Forbes. Incredible. How long has she been in finance? A few years? And you never mentioned it? The question hung in the air. 6 doctors were now watching this conversation. It's complicated, my father said. Dr. Thornton tilted his head. Complicated how? One of the surgical residents, someone who'd been at the anniversary dinner, spoke up. Didn't you say she dropped out and was unemployed? My father's face went red. The cafeteria went quiet. He didn't answer, just picked up his tray and left. His lie was exposed in real time, and people remembered. On day 24 at 3:42 p.m., my mother posted on Facebook. So proud of my daughter Jimmie. She's always been brilliant, and it's wonderful to see her recognized by Forbes. #ProudMom, #30 under 30. She shared the Forbes link. Within an hour, 340 people liked it. The comments started rolling in. Catherine, this is amazing. I didn't know Jimmie was in tech. Wow, congratulations. You must have always supported her dreams. Then someone wrote, wait, didn't you say last month she was figuring things out? My mother deleted the comment. Another, I thought she dropped out of med school. You told me she was unemployed. Deleted. Another, Catherine, I was at the anniversary dinner. I heard what Jonathan said to her. Deleted, user blocked. Within 2 hours, she'd deleted 12 comments and blocked 3 people. But screenshots live forever. Someone posted the deleted comments in a private group chat. It spread. By day 25, people were talking about Dr. Bellamy's wife trying to rewrite history on Facebook. She tried to control the narrative. The internet wouldn't let her. Victoria posted an Instagram story about her keynote. Grateful for this opportunity. Hard work pays off. #neurosurgery, #goals. The story got 4,200 views. Her usual was 800. But the comments weren't about her keynote. Is your sister the one on Forbes? Your sister is a boss. Congrats to your family. Are you and Jimmie working together? Crypto and neurosurgery? Your parents must be so proud. 67% of the comments mentioned me. Victoria didn't reply to any of them. At the hospital, 4 doctors asked her directly, "Your sister's on Forbes. Do you two collaborate?" Victoria smiled tightly. "No, we're in different fields. Still, must be exciting for the family." "Very," she said. Then she walked away. One colleague told Uncle George later, "She looked like she wanted to throw something." The golden child was no longer the only star, and it was killing her. On day 25 at 8:50 p.m., Nathan called. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. "Jimmie," he said. His voice was quiet, genuine. "I'm sorry. I should have defended you at dinner. I was a coward. I didn't want Dad to turn on me too." Silence. "But I'm really proud of you," he continued. "What you built, it's incredible. I've been reading about Vault Chain. It's brilliant." "Thanks, Nathan." More silence. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness," he said. "But I wanted you to know. What Dad did was wrong. What we all did, staying silent, was wrong." I felt a lump in my throat. "I appreciate that. Can we talk sometime? Not about them, just us?" "Maybe," I said. "Not now, but maybe." "Okay, that's fair." We sat in silence for a few seconds. "I have to go," I said. "Yeah, okay. Take care, Jimmie." "You too." I hung up. He was the first to apologize, but apologies don't erase 3 years of silence. CNBC confirmed my spot on Squawk Box for April 8th. Bloomberg scheduled a photo shoot for April 12th, a full profile for their Crypto Innovators series. TechCrunch wanted a 3,000-word feature about my journey, including, and I quote, "your decision to leave medicine and how your family reacted." The journalist asked, "Your father is a prominent surgeon at a top hospital. Does he support your career path?" I paused. "That's an evolving conversation," I said. "Would you be willing to discuss it on the record?" I thought about it. Then I said, "Yes, let's talk about all of it." The journalist sent me a follow-up email. Subject: excited to tell your story. "Jimmie, I think this piece is going to resonate with a lot of people who've had to choose their own path despite family pressure. Looking forward to our call." The article was scheduled to publish April 15th. I was about to tell the world what they did, and they had no idea it was coming. On day 28, March 31st, I made an announcement. I'd been planning it for weeks, before the dinner, before Forbes, before any of this. I called MIT's Office of Development. "I'd like to establish a scholarship fund," I told the director. $5 million over 12 years, specifically for women pursuing blockchain, financial technology, or computer science, particularly women who've changed career paths from traditional fields. The director was silent for 3 seconds. "Ms. Bellamy, that's extraordinarily generous. I want it to launch this fall, 50 scholarships per year, $8,333 each. Priority to women who've left medicine, law, or business to pursue STEM. We can absolutely do that." "One more thing," I said. "I want it called the Women in Blockchain Scholarship Fund, not the Bellamy Fund, not named after me, just the cause." "Understood." The press release went out on March 31st at 10 a.m. MIT announces $5 million scholarship fund for women in blockchain, Cambridge, Massachusetts. MIT is honored to announce a $5 million scholarship fund from Jimmie Bellamy, founder of Vault Chain, supporting women pursuing blockchain and financial technology. The fund will provide 50 scholarships annually over 12 years, prioritizing women who have transitioned from traditional career paths. TechCrunch picked it up within an hour. The headline, Med School Dropout Creates $5 million Fund for Women in Tech. My father saw it. Uncle George said he went pale. On April 2nd, I made a second donation, $2 million to St. Christopher's Hospital in Brooklyn. Not my father's hospital, not even close. St. Christopher's serves one of the poorest neighborhoods in New York. 80% of their patients are uninsured or underinsured. The donation had one specific purpose: to install a blockchain-based payment system that would reduce administrative costs by 40% and help patients without insurance access care. The irony wasn't lost on me: using fake money to help real people. The hospital's CFO sent me an email. Ms. Bellamy, this donation will change lives. We're installing the Vault Chain payment system next month. Thank you for believing in our mission. The press release went out April 3rd. Brooklyn Hospital receives $2 million for blockchain payment innovation. The donation from Vault Chain founder Jimmie Bellamy will modernize St. Christopher's payment infrastructure, helping over 12,000 uninsured patients annually. My father's colleagues asked him why St. Christopher's got the donation instead of his hospital. He didn't have an answer. On April 15th, TechCrunch published the feature. 3,200 words. The headline, How Jimmie Bellamy Built a $42.5 million Portfolio After Leaving Med School, and Why Her Family Didn't Know. The article quoted me extensively. When I told my family I was leaving medical school, they saw it as failure. 3 years later, I'd built something they couldn't even Google. That's the gap between traditional prestige and actual impact. Success looks different for everyone. For me, it wasn't a white coat. It was code, and the ability to use that code to help people in ways medicine never could. My father once called cryptocurrency fake money, but that fake money is now funding scholarships, modernizing hospital systems, and creating opportunities for women who've been told their dreams aren't legitimate. That's real impact. The article went viral. 18,000 shares in 24 hours. The top comment on Reddit. Her family must feel terrible now. Good, they should. The second comment? This is why you don't dismiss people's dreams. You never know what they're building in silence. My father's colleagues read it, all of them. Uncle George said the whispers in the hallways lasted for days. On April 6th, I had a video call with Sequoia Capital. Lisa Chen, the partner who'd reached out, led the meeting. Jimmie, we've been tracking Vault Chain for 8 months. Your growth metrics are exceptional. Your vision for decentralized finance security is the future. We'd like to lead your Series B. What's the offer? $50 million. We'll invest $50 million at a $180 million post-money valuation. I kept my face neutral. Timeline? We can close in 6 days. 6 days. The average Series B takes 3 months. I'll send you the term sheet by end of day, she said. We closed the deal on April 12th. $50 million. Series B. Led by one of the most prestigious VC firms in the world. Vault Chain was now valued at $180 million. My personal stake? 62%. Do the math. The fake money company was now worth more than my father would make in his entire career. I was building an empire, and my family wanted a meeting. April 12th, 11:03 a.m. My doorman called. Ms. Bellamy, Dr. and Dr. Bellamy are here to see you. I froze. I hadn't invited them. Hadn't spoken to them in 4 weeks. Should I send them up? The doorman asked. I thought for 30 seconds. Then I said, yes, send them up. I wanted this to be over. I changed out of my sweatpants, put on jeans and a blazer, deliberate. I wanted them to see me as I was now, not the girl they thought they knew. At 11:07 a.m., my doorbell rang. I opened the door. They looked smaller than I remembered. They stepped inside. My father looked around. At the 2,800 square feet, the floor-to-ceiling windows, the Manhattan skyline stretching out behind me. My mother's eyes went to the furniture, the art on the walls, the custom shelving. Jimmie, my mother said, we need to talk. I didn't offer them a seat. I just stood there. This is quite a place, my mother said. We had no idea you were doing so well. Not we're sorry, not we were wrong, just we had no idea. My father cleared his throat. We were shocked, Jimmie, honestly. You should have told us. I stared at him. Told you? When? When you called me a disgrace? Or when you threw me out in front of 18 people? He flinched. My mother stepped forward. Jimmie, we didn't realize the scope of what you were building. If we'd known… You would have what? I cut her off. Supported me? Believed in me? Silence. You had 3 years to ask, I said quietly. You chose humiliation instead. My father shifted his weight. Jimmie, I've been thinking. Your technology, this vault chain system, my hospital could use it. We could work together, a father-daughter partnership. There it was. A partnership, I repeated. Yes. Think of the impact we could have. Your technology, my network, we'd be helping people. Helping people, I said. Like how you helped me at dinner? His jaw tightened. My mother tried again. Jimmie, family should support each other. We made a mistake, but we're here now. We want to be part of your success. Now you want family, I said. Yes. Now that there's money involved. That's not fair. It's completely fair. I walked to my kitchen island, leaned against it, put distance between us. Let me be very clear, I said. You didn't come here to apologize. You came here because your colleagues are asking questions, because Victoria's being overshadowed, because your reputation is taking a hit. My father started to speak. I held up a hand. You want credit. You want to say, yes, that's my daughter, we always supported her. You want to rewrite history so you're not the villains. Neither of them denied it. I stood up straight, looked them both in the eye. Here's what's going to happen, I said. My voice was calm, steady. I will continue building Vault Chain. I will donate to hospitals, not yours. I will fund scholarships for women you would have called failures. I will speak at conferences and give interviews. And when people ask about my family, I will tell them the truth. My father's face went red. Jimmie, the truth, I repeated. That I built this alone. That you didn't believe in me. That you threw me out when I needed you most. My mother's eyes filled with tears. You can't just cut us out. We're your parents. You cut me out first. We made a mistake. You made a choice, I said. You chose prestige over people. You chose your image over your daughter. And now you want me to pretend it didn't happen so you can save face. I walked toward the door. No. 90 seconds. That's how long my speech took. My father tried one more time. Jimmie, we're your parents, my mother said, crying now. You can't just abandon us. What will people think? People already know, I said. They read TechCrunch. They saw the Forbes article. They know you didn't support me. And you know what? They're on my side. This is extreme, my father said. We're trying to make amends. You're trying to save face. That's not true. Then why didn't you come sooner? I asked. Why wait 4 weeks? Why wait until after Forbes, after the donations, after the TechCrunch article? He didn't answer. You came because you had to, I said, not because you wanted to. And that tells me everything I need to know. I opened the door. This conversation is over, I said. Please leave. My father's face went hard. Jimmie, be reasonable. Leave. One word. Final. They stood there for 5 seconds. Then my mother grabbed her purse. My father straightened his jacket. They walked to the door. My mother looked back once. Her face was sad, desperate. I didn't look away, but I didn't soften either. They stepped into the hallway. I closed the door. 11:23 a.m. 18 minutes, start to finish. I leaned against the door, let out a breath, didn't cry, didn't regret, just felt lighter. Then I sat down at my desk and got back to work. Over the next 2 weeks, 6 family members reached out. Aunt Susan. Jimmie, so proud. My son is interested in tech. Could you mentor him? Uncle Paul. Hey, Jimmie. I have a business opportunity that could benefit from your blockchain expertise. Cousin Rachel. We should grab coffee. I'd love to hear about VaultChain. Cousin David. Any chance you're hiring? I'm looking for a career change. Aunt Margaret. Would you consider speaking at my women's club? We could pay. 5 out of 6 wanted something. I blocked all 5. The 6th message was from Uncle George. You okay, kid? I replied, yeah, I'm okay now. They wanted access, not relationship. I gave them neither. At the hospital, Victoria's colleagues started comparing. Did you hear? Victoria's sister raised $50 million. The younger Bellamy is worth more than most of the surgeons here combined. I read that TechCrunch article. The sister seems really impressive. Victoria heard every word. She started posting more on social media. 2 stories a day instead of 2 a week. Photos from the OR. Quotes about dedication. Articles she'd published. Damage control. But every post had comments. Is Jimmie your sister? She's amazing. Being second best was new to Victoria. She didn't handle it well. 6 weeks after the Forbes article, a surgeon approached my father in the hallway. Jonathan, I read that TechCrunch piece. Your daughter said you didn't know about her success for years. That true? My father stopped walking. It was complicated. We had different visions for her future. Seems like her vision worked out. Silence. Another colleague chimed in. I heard you threw her out at your anniversary dinner. My father's jaw tightened. Where did you hear that? People talk, Jonathan. Dinner invitations from colleagues dropped 60%. His reputation shifted. From proud surgeon to the doctor who didn't support his brilliant daughter. People remembered. Nathan didn't publicly defend me, but privately he told his med school classmates, my sister's brilliant. I wish I'd defended her. He recommended VaultChain to 12 students. He texted me updates. Week 7. I told my study group about VaultChain. 4 of them signed up. I know it's small, but I'm trying. Jimmie. Thanks. Forgiveness takes time. Maybe one day. A Reddit post appeared on r/entrepreneur ride along. Title: Med school dropout gets kicked out by family for playing with fake money. Turns out, she's worth $42.5 million. 8,400 upvotes. Top comment: This is why you don't dismiss people's dreams. The irony is chef's kiss. Second comment: Imagine being so obsessed with prestige that you kick out your own daughter. And then she becomes more successful than you'll ever be. Karma. A Twitter thread went viral. 340,000 views. 94% of comments supported me. The other 6% said things like, family is family, she should forgive them. I didn't engage with any of it. But I saw it. And it felt validating. The internet took my side. But I didn't need them to. I already knew my worth. September 2025. The first cohort of MYT scholarship recipients enrolled. 120 women. VaultChain hit 5.1 million users. I received an invitation to speak at TED 2026 in Vancouver. Topic: Redefining success beyond traditional prestige. Uncle George confirmed he'd be in the front row. On September 14th, I spoke at the MIT welcome event for scholarship recipients. 8 minutes. Standing ovation. A young woman came up to me afterward. She was crying. You saved my life, she said. My parents said computer science was for boys. They wanted me to be a lawyer. I almost gave up. But then I saw your story, and I applied. I hugged her. You proved them wrong, I said. I just opened the door. This was the legacy I was building, not the one they wanted, the one I chose. In July, I wrote a letter. I never sent it. Dear Mom and Dad, I forgive you for not understanding. But I don't need your approval anymore. I've built something you'll never fully understand. And that's okay. I don't need you to. I just needed you to love me. You chose conditions instead. I chose myself. I hope one day you're proud of who I became, not what I earned, but if that day never comes, I'll be okay, because I'm already proud of me. J. I saved it in my drafts folder. Some words are written to heal, not to send. My family now consists of Uncle George, who calls every Sunday, Nathan slowly. We're rebuilding, it'll take time. My vault chain team, 23 employees who believe in the mission, the 120 MIT scholarship recipients, the women who email me saying, "Your story gave me permission to leave law school and pursue engineering." Family isn't just blood, it's the people who see you and choose to stay. 6 months after the dinner, I stood in my penthouse, looked out at the Manhattan skyline. My net worth had grown to $68 million. Vault Chain's valuation had tripled. My parents hadn't contacted me in 6 months, and I felt peace. I don't hate them. I pity them. They'll spend the rest of their lives wondering what would have happened if they'd just believed in me. I already know. I'm living it. They wanted me to be a doctor. They wanted me to save lives with a scalpel. Instead, I became something they never expected. Someone who didn't need their approval to change the world. Someone who proved that fake money could fund real dreams. Someone who built an empire from their rejection. And if they ever Google my name again, they'll see a woman who turned their worst insult into her greatest achievement. That's the legacy I chose, and I'm proud of it.